Well, not really, but I'll get into the point of it is this, that what happens is when you start to sue people like the CEOs of some of these banks, okay, some of them have, I would say, some sort of immunity. One in particular is Michael Perry, who I used to work for. The FDIC says you can't sue him. You can't sue IndyMac Bank, and you can't sue IndyMac Bank FSB. I have a letter up here from the FDIC. That's a scary letter, and I showed it to John and maybe some of the other people out there. They're trying to do is eliminate due process, is what I think. It's like someone can't sue them.
Hey guys, we got to get this on tape, so don't just kind of
sue.
burst out. Go ahead and raise your hands.
This document right here is it's pretty crazy. It is actually from a disgruntled employee who didn't sign it, but is on letterhead. And it basically explains this person's loan right here. I'm just going to read the part that I think is most important. This letter is in response to your request asking for the identity and contact information of the investor or entity that owns your loan. Remember, One West Bank has always said and foreclosed on, we own your loan. Unfortunately, this disgruntled employee wanted to help this young lady and said, your loan is part of a private securitization we service, meaning it has been pooled with other similar mortgages that comprise its underlying assets in a mortgage-backed security. Each MBS may be sold in whole or in part such that more than one investor, a dozen or more, depending on the size of the MBS, may own a portion of that MBS. It is important to understand the investors do not own the individual mortgages comprising the MBS. Instead, each investor owns a pro rata share of the MBS. Makes sense, right? You guys are all investors and you buy into a pool. It's not One West. They don't hold your note. They don't hold any interest. They didn't buy anything. I'll tell you how they funded your loan. This person basically told this person, and this is entered into evidence in federal court, that says basically, listen, they don't have any standing. They don't have any right to be in the courtroom. And you need to find one or a million or whoever owns this asset and bring them all into the courtroom and foreclose on this young lady because they need to get out of the courtroom. They meaning One West or Deutsche Bank. That's a disgruntled employee. If you ever get a letter like this, if you have my email address, send it to me. I'd love to have another one. I have got one I think I'm just going to frame and put it in my office. It's beautiful. It's like a $100 bill to me. We talked about when you enter into court and you're filing papers. A case that I've worked on for about 6 months. But it's interesting how some people answer your complaints. This person happens to be represented by an attorney. So if you feel bad about, one, not answering your complaint, or two, having the complaint try to be dismissed, and you're doing it on your own, it's okay. Because they're trying to do the same thing here. And it's my old friends, Deutsche Bank. And they say, answering paragraphs 2 and 3, defendants deny the allegations contained therein. Answer paragraph 4, defendant admits the allegations. Answer paragraphs 11 and 12, upon information and belief, defendants admit the allegations contained therein. That's the way they answer these things right now. And if you get answers like that, or you get an answer, it's good. But don't feel bad if you get a bad answer, because this isn't worth the paper it's written on. And on August 26th, I think she will walk away from her house, meaning she will own it free and clear. And a lot of people try to trap you in court by saying, you know what, Your Honor, this person wants a free house. He hasn't paid in 2 years. Wants a free house. Like this young lady here we talked about. Bad notaries, bad assignments. Wants a free house. I got news for you. He doesn't want a free house. He wants an affordable payment. You know who wants a free house? Deutsche Bank does. They want the house for free, and that's the answer you give them. You don't give them anything other than that. Never, ever attest to the fact that you want a free house, because that will never, that I have ever seen, work. But I have seen it turn the other way, and that is by saying, guess what? I'm not the one here. I'm defending myself. They are the ones who want the free house because it's been paid off already. And they're going to turn around and sell it again for far less than what I owe on it. And that's the answer you want to give them. Talk about mortgages. This is something that's really bizarre. This package came to me on, I have to ask my bodyguard back there. Is it Saturday? Friday. Okay. I gotta have a bodyguard now, a flak jacket. Okay. You got a few? Okay. I'm representing this young lady. She's in New Jersey. Problem is this. This is the United States District Court, District of New Jersey. This is an indictment. 2 young ladies have been indicted for fraud. It's a 10-count indictment. Fraud, conspiracy, wire fraud, more conspiracy, more wire fraud. They even threw money laundering into it. You know why? Because they filled out an application. It was called a no-doc loan. An FBI investigator said, gee whiz, this just doesn't seem right. She didn't have anything on the application. You all filled out applications at various times, whether it be stated loans, no ratio loans, or no-doc loans. Anything that I could buy from you and sell it triple on the market, I'd take. Anything. Well, these people got indicted because they signed the uniform application, and then on that says, guess what? What you're putting on there better be true. And if it's not, you can run into problems with the law. Sad part about it is her attorney, who is a court-appointed attorney, doesn't know anything about the mortgage business, has no way to even defend her. And I sort of believe with John is that I don't think you're guilty until, or proven, or wait a minute, I've got this backwards. I don't think you're innocent until proven guilty. Once you're indicted, you're guilty. Unless you want to spend the rest of your life for $50,000 hiring a criminal attorney who's going to plead it out anyways for you. But this is some of the cases that I run into. This one is just the opposite. It's not even a foreclosure. It's a person filling out an application to obtain a loan and was indicted for it. Scary thought. But there it is. It's unbelievable. Okay, we got down to the pooling and servicing agreements. We got the 8Ks. We got the 10Ks. Now, if I can do this correctly, if I put this up against the mic, can I play this? Okay. All you have to do is hit that green button. Yeah.
We had a question about explaining the legalities behind the pooling and servicing.
Okay.
Explain the legalities behind the pooling and service agreements.
Okay. Basically, what the pooling and servicing agreement says is this. They have an agreement with the master servicer, who is Bank of America. We'll just call it OneWest or Bank of America. They can't do anything without the trustee's permission. Can't modify your loan. They can't do anything without the trustee's permission. This document tells them how to foreclose, tells them what fees. It actually tells them how to foreclose, what happens if you're 30 days late, what do they do? What happens when you're 60 days late? What do they do? And it also consists of certificate holders and bond holders. This pooling and servicing agreement just happens to have 5 different master servicers involved, and that's why it's a little thicker. But in this particular case, I did mark a piece of it. And see if I can tell you a little bit about. Well, I won't get into it. Anyways, the bottom line is without this document, you don't know what's possible in your loan. You have no idea what's possible. Go ahead.
Are you able to obtain all those documents?
Yes, except for one that I can't find, and I had an emergency on Friday, and I will tell you this was the most bizarre thing I'd ever heard.
No, I mean, if you get hired, you can get all that documentation.
Yes. And hopefully then more. Yes. But I had one case where I couldn't get all the information that I needed. And then I realized where the loan was. And actually, the master servicer was Citibank. And guess who the investor is on this loan? Close. There's only one guy in this. He's back there that I told him. The Bank of Nigeria. I didn't know they invested in anything other than kind of like passports and stuff like that. You know, they got some things going on over there. They are the investor of this gentleman's loan. And I am having a problem with the Bank of Nigeria finding certain documents. Next to calling Nigeria, which they do have a telephone number, which I will probably end up doing. I'm going to do it over at John's house, though. Right. I'm going to do it when he gets the bill. It's a 634 or something or another, but it's not an area code that I've seen in the United States. I'm not sure, but go ahead.
All right, okay. We're talking about a loan here. When we go back to this morning, we were talking about a promissory note and a deed of trust.
Yeah.
Which one of these is this loan attached to? Is that the deed of trust? Is it the...
Both. This is what happens when you securitize a loan. It's called bifurcation. In the banking business, it's called bifurcation. In the courts, it's even bifurcation. What it basically means is this. The note has been separated from the deed. Okay? And if you don't have the two together, and you follow the chain of title, the assignments, if they don't match, that's bifurcation and they're separated. Can't go any farther.
Then why this PSA?
The PSA...
Who's got... It got sold. They stamped it like we saw. They stamped it without prejudice. What is it without recourse?
Right.
And from then it then goes to somebody in a pool servicing agreement. Is that where it goes from there?
It has to be stamped again and assigned to a trustee. And that's what you don't see. You see that it was stamped Wells Fargo or whoever you got your loan from. Sometimes it's a banker, meaning a broker banker, who signs it along and assigns it to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo then stamps it and assigns it to the trust.